Peace, peace. Welcome to the show. I am your host, KJ, and this right here is Humble Beginnings, where we simply live it through. Y'all know I say it time and time again. When I say we simply live it through, I'm simply telling you that no matter what adversity that we go through, all we can do is walk it forward. We never know what's going to happen, so we just play the cards how they are dealt. Today we're gonna have a good show, man. But before I dive into it, let me go ahead and introduce my bros, man, because gotta have my team with me when I can jump on. Got my bro Matty B rocking with me. What's good with you, man?
What's good?
Also got my brother Josh. What's going on with you, man?
What's going on, fam?
Ain't nothing. How y'all boys feeling?
Feel good, man. Can't complain.
Same, ready for another awesome show?
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right, fellas. So today we gonna talk about burdens. Burdens is a tough one, man, to talk about, man. Some people might not understand when they're carrying them. Some people might not know they're carrying them for themselves. Some people might not know they're carrying them for other people. Some people, man, listen, burdens is just a weight, man. It's just a heavy load that sometimes we can't shake. We can't let it off our shoulders, whatever may have you. Sometimes it keep us back, keep us from progressing and all this other stuff like that. But we're going to dive into it, give a couple of breakdowns. Talk about a couple different type of burdens or whatever may have you. And we're going to get into it. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. Right out the jump. Since we're talking about burdens, and since this is the panel, we're talking with just men, I want to know, what are some of the burdens that come along with leadership? Say it again. What are some of the burdens that typically come along with leadership? Go ahead, Josh.
I start this off with come with leadership. Burdens might be like overthinking some things, like how can I do this to better prepare my troops or my people or just people in general. Might confident issues because you don't know if you can do it. Like, damn, if they put me in this leadership position, I don't know if I can do it, and a lot more. But that is my version of it.
Okay, cool. Matt, what you think about that? What are some of the burdens that come along with leadership?
Being responsible for the outcome, no matter how your leadership is. Because even if your leadership is considered to be great, even if it turned out to be a bad outcome and it's uncontrollable variable, you still got to take the blame for it. You're still going to get blamed for it, So
Definitely.
you have to understand that even if you do a good job, things still can go left, and that's on you. And then when you do a great job, you still got to be able to not be egotistical and still give that credit to your troops. Even when you do a great job, it's more about getting those guys ready than it is about you. Even though from the outside you would get your credit, but at that time, you have to go in a lot of times with that mentality that it's about making this team better more so than unless your personal interest is making that team better, but you can't have really like no you got to be unselfish to be in that position. So that's kind of one of the things. Another thing I was gonna say is one of the other burdens is the stress factor. Being able to also manage your stress levels, keep even keel, not getting too high, not getting too low. When things go great, you can't get too high. When things go bad, you can't get too low. You got to be even keel. You got to have the ability to detach. You got to have the ability to deal with different personalities. So a lot of times, you have to. Every personality ain't the same. You don't deal with everything the same way. So it's also self-improvement. You can't lead unless you're able to follow and you're able to improve every day yourself. So that's my take on that.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. You definitely said a lot, man. You covered a lot of angles, man. I definitely think a lot of the burdens come in from that responsibility level of, what I'm saying, that overwhelmingness of can you even, carry out the task at forth? Can you get these guys on the same page? Can you just, like how you said, the stress factors too, man. Like sometimes, man, the weight weighs down on them. Like, and when we talking about like leadership, especially when we talk about leadership like within the Black community and around certain things, sometimes you got that situation of feeling like you in it by yourself. Like if I, I'm leading these people or I'm carrying people or trying to get people to a certain place, sometimes you get that overwhelming feeling like, yo, is anybody really with me? Like sometimes you feel like you're alone, even though, you know what I'm saying? Like how, they say like you could be in a crowded room, but still feel alone. So even though the people might be standing behind you, you still feel like you are pushing for something that everybody else just might not grasp, even though they standing right there with you. So yeah, man, I think y'all boys captured that joint in a nutshell, man. I think it's many things that come with that, thing of leadership. Question. When since we talking about this, when do our emotions typically become burdens? Don't y'all think about that? When do our emotions typically can become burdens? Josh, you look a little stumped there, so I'm gonna start with Matt. Like you thinking about that thing. I'm gonna start, Matt, what you think, man?
I kind of touched on it a little bit when I was saying about being even keel. That's kind of where I was going about that, and being able to detach, because a lot of times your emotions play into it. You kind of have to. Of course, you want to have emotions. You want to have the ability to resonate with your workers or your team, but at the same time, you can't get too involved because your emotions a lot of times definitely will play a factor in it. It's according to that individual person. You may feel close to a worker, and in that case, your closeness, your emotions are feeling close to that worker can alter the way you lead. It can be, a chink in the armor. You may have a personal issue with a worker or something that you don't like, and even though you have a personal issue, firing that person might not be a good idea because they may be more valuable to the team. It may be better for you to swallow your ego and find a way to work it out, even if it means bringing an intermediate person in there to resolve that issue. So I think a lot of times you have to manage your emotions, because your emotions definitely can be the downfall of your ability to lead. Even when it comes to, like I said, something going left, you getting too down. You got to be able to detach and get back to the task at hand. How do we fix this? You can't get too caught up into, damn, I fucked up, I messed up, I'm down. You got to be able to take that experience, detach, and figure the solution. And just managing your emotions, staying even keel, moving on.
Cool. Josh, what you think, man? When do you see emotions become a burden? Like from your optician, when have you seen emotions become a burden? What are some things you've seen?
I kind of like Matt answer, man. He touched a lot of points. And like you said, if you get close to somebody and you build that friendship, and he messing up, you be like, damn, like he my homie, but he ain't doing the job, and
I want to touch on something else too when you get finished. Go ahead.
okay, and like you be like, damn, he my homie, but he messing up. He causing me to look bad, especially if I'm your supervisor and you my homie, and we boys be like, but you making me look bad. Like I put you on and you making me look bad. Now I got to fire your ass, and that could lead to a goddamn a bad friendship or break up the friendship. It's just like getting in business with family or your significant other. That's a lot of emotional right there, because if you live with you work with your significant other, you see her day night at work and all that, so the business problem can bring it home, and the home problem go to the business and mess up that relationship.
Could be
So
overwhelming.
yeah.
Go ahead, Matt. What you was going to chime back into?
Well, yeah, I was gonna try to make you to it, but Josh ended up going that direction. I was gonna pretty much say, the way I see you phrase the question, I probably answered it not 100% correct the first time, but I was also gonna say in situations like where you hire your family or you hire a close person, that's definitely one of those situations where you can kind of see where your emotion get the best of you. When you mix business and family together, even if it's not even sometimes outside of the job, because a lot of times people say that when you hire family take you for granted, but sometimes it's also the person that do the hiring, because when they get outside the work, can they now look at you as an equal when they're a friendship outside the job? Sometimes it affects them even outside the job, because now they look at you as a subordinate more so than a friend outside the job. The same way you expect that person to now be a worker when they come in the job, you have to also still be a friend outside of the job. But do you treat that person like a friend because they work for you? Or now do you treat them differently because you're looking at them as subordinate? So, you know.
Mike, what's up, man?
What's going on, fam? What's up?
Hey, nothing. So, Mike, man, right now, man, I posed the question. The fellas just got through chiming in. In your opinion, man, what are some situations, man, where you see that our emotions can become burdens?
I think our emotions become burdens. Like, damn, that was kind of hard. I think our emotions become burdens, like when it's something that, I don't know, like when we can't control something, like maybe like within, like, let's just say like a relationship. You know, I feel like a lot of emotion can come with that because we tired. You know, I feel like we can't control our feelings with a lot of stuff, man. And then, like, let's just say it's something that's hurtful or something that really gets to you or something, you know what I'm saying, out of your control. And, you know, it's like somebody did something, or let's say you got hurt, let's just say somebody cheated or something, man. You never know, like, you don't know how you react to that. We could say one thing, but we won't know until it actually happens. And, like, that could be a burden because you can't see yourself acting a certain way or doing something. You'd be like, damn, I can't believe I did this. You know what I'm saying? I can't believe this even got me there. And it's like, I think it's a burden because it puts you it puts you out of character to me.
True.
That's it.
So the emotions. I'm gonna address emotions directly. Depression. Depression can be an emotion that overwhelms you and it can become a burden, because a lot of times when people are depressed, they're typically not able to move forward. You know what I'm saying? They're not able to move forward. Maybe they could have been depressed because of a bad relationship might have happened. You know what I'm saying? They might have went through a bad relationship, you know, got a divorce or broke up with someone. Now it becomes a burden. That breaking up becomes a burden because now you can't focus on your job. You don't want to eat now. Like you missing meals and all this other stuff like that. Like, I mean, depression can be a burden in you know, several different ways, because it kind of halts you from being able to move forward because you feel like there's no reason to. On the other side, anxiety. Anxiety is an overbearing emotion because it lives with so much fear in it. You know what I'm saying? And when people have anxiety, they don't want to touch on things or want to get involved with certain stuff because they're afraid to fail. So sometimes our emotions can play a role to where we won't even try to accomplish certain things because we're so afraid. Like we're afraid to accomplish things. We're afraid to dive into certain things all because of anxiety. We might be worried about how others are going to view it. Say like when we talking about earlier, like the leadership question. You might have been appointed a role as a leader, and seeing how your peer group view you in the position that you have might have you hesitant upon moving forward, because you might be like, oh, okay, I got this job. You want to do the job to the best of your ability, but you're more worried about the way that they're going to look at you and how you're going to maintain it, how you're going to actually get out of the position. And then if you fail, now you worrying about them talking trash about you. Like, man, that nigga wasn't ready for that job. I don't even know why they gave him that job, and going into things like that. So these are certain angles, and there's several more. These are definitely angles in where your emotions can definitely get the best of you. I got another question. So now we're talking about some of ours. Why do some people volunteer to carry other people's burdens? So think about that. Why do people volunteer to carry other people's burdens. Because sometimes we take other people's burdens and we make them our own.
Because
the
they
load
think,
they leave yours to carry.
because we think some people think they can fix everybody's problems. Like, tell me your problem and I can come up with a solution, when in reality, that ain't your problem. I mean, the person got to figure out, like, they gotta go through hell to get to the other side and learn the lesson. I mean, I ain't trying to get in religion, but maybe the person, the higher belief, putting that test on you to see if you can handle it. If you see if you can handle it, because you answer something and you can't handle it, like what's the point?
Okay, cool. Mike, what you think, man? Why do some people volunteer to take on the burdens of others? Your opinion.
Man, like that's crazy you said that, because I literally kind of had a conversation about that earlier. I feel like anybody that does that, I don't know, like they feel like they're obligated, like it's something that they have to do or something that they're used to doing. And like I guess they feel like they have to do these things, or you know what I'm saying, when you're used to doing it, then you just feel like, dang, I'm used to doing, I gotta carry everybody's stuff, which in my opinion, it puts like you said, extra stressor on you, because now you gotta worry about your problems, and you know what I'm saying, you're trying to fix that, then you fixing your friends' problems, and you want to fix that, or you fixing, you know what I'm saying, just anybody problems you come across, man. And it's like you're gonna worry yourself. Now you can't fix it, you can't do this. Now it's a letdown for you, because it's something that you're used to doing, but it's not your problem. Like I don't know why you would, oh Lord, I don't know why you would try to
Fix
you
everybody's
would even
problem.
try to, yeah, I don't understand, man. Like it's crazy, but I really don't like that. But at the end of the day, anybody, you're grown, you do what you do, man. But don't sweat, don't try to lose sleep over somebody else's shit. You know what I'm saying? So
Most definitely. Matt, what you think, man? Why do we tend to volunteer to take over other people's or carry other people's burdens?
I think it's a few things. I hit two of the points. I think it's a natural thing for some people, as far as loving to help people, loving to see people do better. Some people have a protective gene, and part of that protective gene may be taking the burden off other people that they feel can't handle it. And especially if they've been through a lot of stuff themselves and they came through it, a lot of times they feel strong when they feel like, I don't want to see you go through that, so they'll put the pressure on themselves. The other thing is, I think it's also constructive, because a lot of people have been raised hearing that give, doing for other people before you do for yourself, charity, that it makes you a better person. So a lot of people get caught up into that and they don't even know it. They think that because I'm doing something for other people, I'm a better person. I'm doing what's right. It's also could be seen as the ego thing. You feel like, it's the same man you always say, I forgot how it go though. It's the karma thing. People think that they doing a lot of good for somebody, there's going to be good for them at the end of the road. There's going to be karma come back around. So they get caught up into, for me to see good karma, for me to have a great outcome, I need to help other people. I need to do this for other people. A lot of times they just end up setting themselves back, because they could be blind. You could be blinded by your ability to want to help other people. So that's my point about that.
So yeah, I would agree. I think there's some people who carry a savior complex.
Yeah.
Where they feel that, they have to take on the load of other people. You typically see it with like people, like, especially if they you see it when people who they've been through things.
Yeah.
And it might have been hard for them, so they feel like when they see you go through it, they want to go through. But I think that's not only a hero complex. I think that's also guilt too. I think a lot of guilt is the reason why people do that as well. Because the same thing could happen. Like somebody can go through something and it might have turned out a certain way, and when they see someone else go through it, they kind of feel guilted into taking on that burden, not because the guilt was placed on them, but they feel that way because they've experienced it, and they be like, "Dang, man, I don't want you to do it because out of love." I think love does that. I think your love for each other kind of guilt you, and it kind of gives you that hero complex in itself. I think they kind of work hand in hand with each other. I think these things kind of make you want to be like, yo, I'm gonna take on this responsibility. I'm gonna do this right here. I feel bad or whatever may have you, or I just want to help you out, or all this other stuff like that. So I think the hero complex, and I think guilt in many occasions are some of the things that make people, try to carry the load for other people.
And I think it's one more thing. I think it's also a comfortability as well, because I've seen people like me, for example. Some people have come up in a family where they may have had a handicapped brother, or a mother that had a addiction, or a father that had an addiction, or a little brother or something. Typically, they don't know how to even deal with people unless they're doing something for someone. Some people, it's a comfortability thing. Like, that's why they say some women, they deal with lesser guys, because they want that. I need to help you with something. I need to do something for you. I need to help you get a job. I need to do something. Some people don't even know how to deal with somebody where they have to. Some people don't even know how to deal with some people where they don't even need help from them. They only can now deal with people that need help because they become that's part of their life now.
I've definitely seen that. I've seen people like that's their only way of being able to even communicate with you.
Yes, I got to help you with something.
I've definitely seen that.
If I can't help you with nothing, they don't even know how to bond with the person. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I have seen that.
So you're basically only looking for people that you can help, basically.
I don't know if they're looking for that, but they typically they get drawn closer to that person.
Yeah. I wouldn't. They might not be in search of it, but they do gravitate heavily to people that they just feel they gotta help them.
And they don't know how to deal with people. And they don't even know how to deal with
strangers or people they know.
Yep, and they don't even know how to deal with people who say, "I don't need you for nothing, just to be around." They don't even know how to deal with people like that. They only can deal with people that need them for something.
I've definitely seen that. So when we hear things like paying for the sins of our father, paying for the sins of our father, the question is, do our parents burden us with their mistakes? Think about that. Paying for the sins of our father. These are errors, mistakes. Do our parents burden us with their past mistakes?
Not mine. Yeah, I can give a damn.
So, Josh, you saying you ain't been left no burdens? Pops ain't left you no burdens?
When he left me.
I'm just asking, man. He left you no burdens, man.
I can tell. I mean,
but a burden could also be if you having to do something for your family because your pops didn't set your family up in a perfect situation for you. Because in some families, all the kids have to worry about is themselves. You got to worry about your sister. You got to worry about your mama because she ain't in a situation. Some people may look at, I was left a burden because of that, even though that person wasn't there.
Well, since you brought like that, I mean, I guess y'all ain't never. Some of y'all know. I think all y'all know. I never seen my mother, so some people that could be a burden. Like, I never seen my mother. Like, what happened? Blah blah blah. But other than that, all my sisters, siblings grown. Like, nah.
Because it could be like, kind of like what Matt was alluding to. Like, it could be a situation where it's like, they don't have to be extreme as if they're passing, but just the responsibilities of, say, it could be something like went to jail. It could be something maybe if they were an addict or anything like that. And then they were like the ones running the household. And then maybe like they could have like stepped away. And then now all of a sudden you have to hold on the responsibility of taking care of younger siblings and things like that because they're not in a position to be able to manage. Or like how Matt said, like sometimes people aren't setting their families up to the right degree. So your pops, might have a job, but it's not enough. So then, their failure, or some people might not look at it as a failure, but their inability to be able to provide, sometimes you might take it and be like, you know what, I gotta jump on, I gotta help the family out, or you didn't begin to take on the load of being the provider of the family now because they're in their absence or whatever may have you.
I understand all the points you said. There was beautiful points, but nah, I never went through that.
Nah, I got you. Matt, what you think, man?
Yeah, I definitely think. I definitely believe that parents can be a burden. I've seen it a lot of times, and it's not nothing malicious most of the time, because even in these situations where it's like the basic things, like they don't have to. I'm not saying leave you $1 million, leave your house. All that stuff is extreme, but knowing how to deal with credit. Like how many people I heard now that say they didn't even learn how to deal with credit until they made those mistakes themselves. Like a lot of parents didn't even set their kids up how to be financially responsible. How to deal with situations at your first job, hard bosses. Like just the simple things everybody's gonna go through in life. That can be seen as a burden. You know what I'm saying? Because you having to be put out there without even knowing that information. So I mean, I definitely see that, and even hitting on the things where it's like the stress that a lot of kids, especially in the inner city, we go through of not being in a great situation or even a reasonable situation where we don't have to worry about crime or even being in a good school or even worrying about brothers and sisters. They ain't doing well in school because they don't have the right guidance, and you got to step in and help them with that as a bigger brother or as a little brother or whatever. Some of that you taking on the responsibility because you weren't set up in a great situation. So I mean, I definitely see that a lot of times.
Okay. Mike, what you think, man? Paying for the sins of our fathers. Do our parents sometimes burden us with their past mistakes?
In general, yeah. I think just from certain situations, like may not have been myself, but may have been people I've been around, like any of us, what I'm saying, been around. We see different shit that they go through, and they had no choice but to take on that responsibility because of what that parent may not have done, and now they got to take care of, what I'm saying, if they got a sister or brother, they got to take care of them, or what I'm saying, also they probably have to take care of the parents too, what I'm saying, and taking care of how, make sure they have a place to stay and eat, and then what I'm saying, and they weren't asked to do that, they just had to naturally fulfill that role. And it could be a burden, because who said really they had to kind of be like that? They were put there, without even taking it up. Like they had no choice. So that could be a burden. They might end up having extra stuff that they probably wouldn't have, maybe high blood pressure, or maybe these other people problems now that they have to fix on top of theirs, which is building up on them, and like that.
So yeah, so when I approach this from this angle like this, so to piggyback off what Mike said, health. Sometimes your parents having bad approaches to their health can be a burden to you, because people love saying things like this is hereditary and this is hereditary, but only thing I see that's hereditary is the behaviors that you typically just do whatever it is that they were doing. Typically, if your mom and your pops eat horribly, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna eat horribly. But I mean, it's understandable, because when you coming up in their house, you can't do nothing but eat the way that they eat. You ain't really got a choice, especially if you come up from the era we come up in. Yeah, you better eat that goddamn food that's on the table. You really ain't left too many options. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, you won't have a choice. You got to definitely get into that. You know what I'm saying? From that point of view. I also look at it too from relationships. Sometimes when your father might not have been the perfect example to show you how to be a father, or how to be a man, or how to be that leader of a family. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the times, and we typically see most of us grow up in single mother households. So the absenteeism of our fathers kind of leaves us in a stuck place. You start getting kids. Sometimes you don't know what to do because you ain't had a father to have to be there to deal with you. You know what I'm saying? You or your siblings will be able to make it through. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we'll be in a relationship. Probably, really, the majority of the reason we don't know how to deal with these women is because we ain't had to watch a man control our mamas, instruct our mamas, guide our mamas. We watching our mama do it all alone with her independent life, carrying things on, and she got to be the one to carry the load and all that. Like she take on the burden. You know what I'm saying? Because she carried, we also learn from that side. Well, we're not seeing a father there, so we don't know how to manage. Even without having a father, even being able to deal with amongst men. Like if we look at the way that women talk and women get around men, women talk a little reckless. Women got tongues like knives. You know what I'm saying? They cut when they get to talking. Especially if you get in an argument with them, boy, they have you bloody. You know what I'm saying? They get real dangerous when they get to talking. Sometimes when you come up around that, you develop this thing where you get reckless with your mouth, and not having your father around could then impact you to where you like, yo, you don't even know how to address a man yourself. You don't know how to look a man in his eye when you talking. You don't know how to stand up and greet a man when he walk in the room. These are some of the things that we grow lacking. That these would be burdens that we can carry in the absenteeism of certain parents because we weren't there to learn. Even when it comes to having your mother, sometimes our mother not being on her square and not handling things the way she need to be handling leaves us confused when we're looking for a woman. We mess around and find the same woman who had raised us and knowing she ain't really the woman you should probably be talking to because she ain't had her stuff together. She had her faults or whatever may have you. But these are things that we run into. You know what I'm saying? We cross these bridges. So when I hear that, I look at it from those type of angles of like the immediate household, like not having people there, or even if they there, them not recognizing and understanding their placement to be able to teach us to help us move forward. That's how I receive that when I hear, you know what I'm saying, paying for the sins of our fathers. You know what I'm saying? Missing the mistakes.
Good
So,
point.
How about this? Oh, well, we talking family right now. So before I move on to this, can children and spouses be a burden to you?
Yes.
Can spouses and children be a burden to you? Josh, since I heard you want to go ahead and ask, go ahead, talk to me. What's up?
For the children part, like, I guess me and Matt ain't got no kids. Y'all got kids, so y'all. I don't know if you got kids, Matt. I ain't talking.
I ain't got none.
Okay, so I can't answer the kids part, but for a spouse, it can be a burden at times, but especially if y'all don't communicate. Like this boils down to communication, like your likes and dislikes and all that, what you expect, your expectations and all that. And then when you get in a relationship, everything basically leads to money. Like that's a big burden right there, like dealing with money and how y'all decide how to split the bills or whatever y'all decide to do in the relationship. As far as kids, I don't know. I can't speak on that, so I'm not gonna speak on that.
All right. Mike, what you think, man? Could spouses and children be burdens to you?
No lie, I'm kind of up in the air with that one. Just me, personally, I guess from a general standpoint, probably so. But then again, everybody's situation can be different. Like me personally, I feel that, I don't think so, because at the end of the day, I really wouldn't say, for one, like my kid's gonna be a burden, because at the end of the day, it's up to me to like, teach the little bit of stuff that I know, to help them get better, because they don't know anything, little kids or whatever. you know, they don't know much. So it's up to me to try and, you know, instill in them what I know to make sure that they be better in some way, you know, till they get older or whatever. Spouse, I don't I mean, if y'all in that all in something together, I guess it could be a burden if something is like a habit, like they got something with them that's like kind of repetitive, and now you feel like, okay, you know, like I got to take care of this, you know, I got to deal with this situation. I think you could. I know it's easier said than done, but like to me, you can kind of remove yourself from from something like that, like with a spouse. But you know, it's all on that person. But for the kids, that's for sure. I don't think so.
Okay. Matt, man, what you think, man? Can these relationships and the children be a burden?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely can be a burden. I think we've seen that with somebody we both know, me and you personally, and it kind of goes back to one of the things you wrote, maybe one that you could share on this podcast about the type of fathers they are. You know, that was pretty dope. You know, pretty deep when I read the shit that you wrote. Also, it goes to like that father that may have had kids and had a lot of goals he wanted to get accomplished, and some people, you know, based on the type of father it is, they may feel like it's hindering them for being who they want to be, you know. But I definitely think that kind of goes back on either it's your leadership, your preparation, or your ability to let go. I think it's one of those three. Because if it's a situation where you felt like you were prepared, you did the things right, then you need to also have that ability to be able to let go and free yourself of a situation that may not be beneficial in the long run. Because some people stay attached to a situation that they need to leave. Then you have the people who want the situation but weren't properly prepared, and that can be a burden as well, you know. So I definitely think it's those three things. And it's based on the individual, you know, what that person want to be, if they really ready to step up and take the responsibility, and even if they have the capabilities of even being able to provide for their family. If they let it stress them out to the point that they can't properly provide, that's that having that emotional balance. Some people have kids. Like I said, most of us have oops babies. So most people are having kids, you know, and not mentally prepared, not emotionally knowing how to keep themselves even keel. So I definitely think it could be a burden.
So yeah, I was going to actually approach it the exact same way, kind of how Matt was going at it. I was going to say, you know, they definitely can be a burden. For the same reason, like how Matt gave, like if you're one of them people who are super ambitious and you're trying to get into certain fields or certain things or trying to chase certain bags, and you're working towards it, like a relationship can hinder you because sometimes you get with women and women want your time, and it's like, yo, I got to get this back, I can't give you the time, so you got to then sacrifice something to be able to get or whatever it is that you're coming from. Also, when it comes to children, sometimes, like how Matt say, because I say that's what I say all the time, most of us have oop babies, you know what I'm saying? We out here having sex, you know, the chick pregnant as a child. A lot of times you're not in a position even mentally to be able to take care of the children, let alone financially, or people physically. You get what I'm saying? So it definitely can be a burden because you might not have been ready. And if you weren't ready, that's a heavy load to carry. Just like anything else. If you ain't physically ready to get up here and lift these weights, get up in here, you ain't gonna be able to live it. It's gonna be a burden, boy. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't emotionally ready to be able to be around kids, you might mess around and spaz out and choke one of them little suckers out or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it can go many ways. Like if you're not ready, then we typically embarking upon a burden here because you know what I'm saying? You're just not prepared. So it's going to be definitely a hard load to be able to carry. So just the answer to the question, they can be, you know what I'm saying? Because the question is really predicated more towards possibility.
If they doing all this stuff, they worry about all these burdens and stuff. Man, if you not ready for if you're not ready for these certain things that could come about from you having sex, you probably don't need to have sex.
But
Because if you
Don't be
feel like
irresponsible.
you're not ready to with these possibilities, you're not ready to, you know what I'm saying, oh, I'm not financially, oh, for one, if you're not financially ready, why is you even putting yourself in that? You don't know how, you know what I'm saying, you don't know how these women, you don't know how some of these women are. Hell, you could go and have sex, next thing you know, they done turn to a whole different person. Now you find now you gotta go definitely work, pay child support. You ain't wanna go to jail, you ain't wanna, you know what I'm saying, do all this. So man, I figure like, okay, you young, yeah, or whatever, we haven't said we, doing to do it. And we might not be ready. You know what I'm saying? But we grown ass men, all of us above 30 years old. You fuck around, you go and have, you know what I'm saying, go out there and make these kids and something like that, I'm not gonna feel bad for that. I'm not gonna say it's a burden because you put yourself in that situation to have a burden. So the fault is on you, straight up. Like you wasn't
Oh,
ready for all that. You shouldn't even been laying down, straight up.
I agree with you. I mean, it's always choices, but despite the choice that you make, it's still. I mean, a burden is a burden. A burden is simply a load that's too heavy to carry. So
That's what I
even
was
if
going.
you didn't plan for it or you overestimated yourself, because you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, if you thought you were strong enough to lift this, and you go over there to go lift it, and you can't. Yeah, you made the choice, and it's still a burden though. It's not any less of a burden because you put yourself
But
there.
you got to work yourself up to get there, though, and you're going to
Yeah,
work
yeah,
yourself up to
yeah.
get there.
I
So
agree. I mean, I agree.
But some people having a kid and wife actually break them. Everybody don't work themselves up to get to a position as well. You know.
but hey, on the flip side though, like you right about that one. I ain't gonna lie, you right about that one. But like on the flip side too, it could make you better because
Yeah,
you
it go either
probably
way.
didn't have, you probably didn't have that dad there, and for around you probably that should make you out. It, just somebody telling you a good dad, that's whatever. Because at the end of the day, uh, I feel it's all what you feel it is, and if you doing, I guess the necessary stuff you need to do to make sure, what I'm saying, your baby eat, your baby have, this and that, if they're provide, you providing for them. I feel that's good. It don't matter about. I don't have to take you to Chuck E. Cheese all the fucking time. I don't have to go and buy you these new fucking Jordans. I don't have to do none of that. But if I'm sitting there, I'm spending time with you, you know what I'm saying? I'm helping, giving you the things I didn't have, like when I was young, that's what a good parent is to me. So you can learn from mistakes that happened in your past, make you a
Yeah,
better
absolutely.
person.
Most definitely, most definitely. Uh, more money, more problems. When y'all hear people say more money, more problems.
That song kind of alright too.
How does wealth burden people? Think about this. How does wealth burden people? Because there's a lot of people, you always hear they be like, yo, they get a lot of money. Motherfuckers be stressing. It seemed like they was going through life better when they were broke.
Yep. Yeah,
They
absolutely right
mess
about
around and
that.
got some money. Life became very, very hard. So they say more money, more problems. What y'all think? How does wealth burden some people?
That can be up to the person because like when you get money, a lot of people start coming out the woodworks. A lot of people, especially when they finally you get money, like, hey, what's up, big cuz or bruh and all that. Like, yo, then they start telling you your problems like my light bill past due, I need some money. And like I said, if you got that good heart, like Matt was saying, like you just a nurturing person, you're like, shit, all right, now let me help you out. I want my money back now. They take your money and don't never get that shit back. And that can be a burden. Like it all depends. Like, and we had this conversation. Like, if I get money, I mean, I done had money, don't lost money, had money, lost money. But I guarantee you this time, if I ever get a load of money this time, I know what to do with it. Don't come to me with your problem. Because you had your problems before you know I had money. Why you calling me now? Why you couldn't figure out before I got money? You waiting for me to help you? I just had to learn a certain skill or do something in my business to earn this money. I earned this. You ain't about to take it this time. I guarantee you I know what to do with it.
Yo, Matt, man, what you think, man? More money, more problems, man. How do wealth, man, burden some people, man?
People getting wealth too early, or getting wealth and not being very knowledgeable of what to do with wealth. You know, we typically see this happen. It could be any age, but we typically see this happen with people who they got the money too early, or they didn't do that much to get the money. Like when they hit the lottery or something. 'Cause when you don't work for the money, you know, you treat it differently than if you actually had that long climb to get it as well. So getting it too early, or getting it like by luck is in everything, but getting it where it's like just a random chance draw also can make you not value it as much. And like I said, being not being not being financially literate in order to operate with money, because a lot of people, they overspend, or they end up having more of a burden having more money, like how you said, than not having the money. Because I was just talking to this dude actually when I've been doing the door knocking thing, and he was saying about an employee who his whole life was making $15 an hour. He got him a job, you know, the little hot shot truck driving jobs where you try to pick up trucks, and he worked for like a timber company. And now he making like over 6 figures. But when they got a house, when they got $100,000 truck, he said, "Why would you get $100,000 truck?" When they got a big house, when they got a young girl, and now every day he come to work, he's stressing, having issues, having problems. How I got to make more money. I got to make more money. So people get into over their head because they can't control the emotion. They get excited, finally making a certain amount of money, and they just want to get everything that they never been able to get. So that's that like emotional intelligence you got to have. And then also, like I agree with Josh, the family members not being able to detach, having a big heart, you know, wanting to do for everybody, and that's the worst person that can get money, is the person that wants to help everybody. That person typically always falls. You know, they always drop because they don't know when to say no. They overextend them. They overextend themselves. They worry about other people more than they worry about themselves. And you get that person a lot of money, they typically, you know, falter from it. So those are a few things I think that money can definitely burden you. And also, like how when we talk about the responsibility, the first question you kind of leadership that you brought up. When you have a lot of money, and you also take on a lot more burdens of other people as well, you know. So that's what I say about that.
Cool. Mike, man, more money, more problems, man. How do this wealth, man, sometimes burden people, man?
I guess you could say it's only gonna be like really like finances. Like people, now they know you got this, they come to you with their problems, and it's crazy. Like now, like it never been like talks you know what I'm saying, we talk and really money ever come up like that. Now you figure like, all right, let me have like all right, let's say a few thousand, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm down. I'm afraid to pick up the phone because every time you call, now you always asking me for something. It'd be like, well, dog, now you kind of don't want to get them phone calls, and you know, just be like, because you already know what it's about. And now, you know, that's stressing you out because, like, damn, we went from a situation like we just talking and cool and stuff to now you only calling them about for money. So now I got to be stressed out, like, going all over the thing what Josh said, talking about now, you know, pay my money back and stuff, man. You know, now you gotta worry about this, and that can probably ruin money. That can like ruin the relationship between you and that person. It don't matter who it is. It could be friends, family. Uh, you know, and you go that way with family. It don't matter about if you was lend somebody out in the streets of money too. You gonna go worse. So yeah, that's about it.
And I think too, one more thing I want to add. I think too, people don't realize that keeping money is harder than getting money as well, and a lot more whether we want to call it, demons or people out the woodwork or whatever, way more people are coming to take what you got than you had as far as when you were broke. Nobody worries about when you were broke. I hear a lot of people say when they got money, the same way it ain't just family members. It ain't just people that don't like you. There's banks, there's business people, there's accountants that you may want to hire. You have to manage more. There's a lot of people that are after what you got, and you have to really be able to detach and, like I said, be able to make smarter decisions. So your decision making process has to become better when you making money, especially if people know you got money as well.
So what you just chimed in was the exact same angle that I was going to actually approach that with. I was going to say, yo, who can you trust? You know what I'm saying? Like when you start getting into the realm of certain people who like looking for the investments or certain stuff like that, they coming in, they trying to find all kind of ways to take your money from you. Yep. Even from the aspect of like, say you already got the money and you feel secure. Now you trying to find a woman. You don't know who you can trust. You don't know if this woman here for your money. You don't know if she even really like you like that. You don't know why this woman here. You know what I'm saying? She might just be with you because she see a nice lick. You don't know. She might be trying to get pregnant by you just so she can make you pay up. Like, you just don't know. Like, who can you trust when you get to the status? You know what I'm saying? Ain't no telling what is waiting for you, for, future relationships, business, you know what I'm saying? Even friends, depending on the background y'all come from, you know what I'm saying? You just don't know.
And most people when they get money, they use that example of family members coming out the woodwork, but accountants come out, lawyers come out, attorneys come out, people that want you to invest come out. When you get a certain amount of money, you start getting calls from people from all walks of life that you never heard from before. Especially if we talk about like the millions of dollars, you get a lot of calls from that, because you lose it. Also, when you get that much money, you are losing money every day if you put it in a savings account. So you kind of have to have an idea of what I need to do with it. So
I'm changing my name, moving out the country.
So I'm talking to the people, man. Why are we afraid to let go? And say even if letting go is not an option and we have the burden, why are we afraid to ask for help? So it's two parts. Why do you think we are afraid to let go of these burdens and say letting go is not even the possibility? Why do you think we are afraid to even ask for help to help carry the burden?
Letting go, I was saying, in the Black community, we've been trained that, we are bad people if we don't help our family members out. If we don't, if we turn our back on our friends, because we get so used to struggle that when we turn away from struggle, we think we're doing something wrong. We think that if we don't look at it as we making a healthy decision, we make it as we doing something wrong because our life has always been based around struggle. So you look like the abnormal one from not embracing, the challenge of saving everybody. And as far as the second question, I would say it's more ego. It's more of an ego type thing. What was that second question again? I know I wanted to say ego, but I forgot what the question was actually.
Why are we afraid to ask for help?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely more of an ego thing, and it comes from who you're around. I feel like if I got friends, and I tell you this all the time, if I can't ask my friends for help, they ain't really need to be my friends. But you got people that got friends and family members because they might have got a bad reaction, or they might have got laughed at, or they might have got dissed by a friend, or betrayed, or whatever. Somebody told their business. They look at it as I'll never do it again. But that's not your fault. That's their fault because you're doing the right thing by asking the people you're supposed to be able to rock with and trust for help. But I see a lot of people when they ask a friend or a family member for help and they get an attitude or the person shits on them, they take it as something wrong with them for even asking. Nah, that just was a fake ass friend. You ain't did nothing wrong. You ask your friend for help and they laugh at you and they tell people take that person like it's dumb. It ain't you. So you shouldn't be ever afraid to ask your people for help. What's the point of having friends in a tribe and family members that you say you love if you can't ask them for nothing? So that's how I look at that.
To piggyback off Matt, ego and pride probably go together because I was about to say pride too. Like pride of like I've been doing this all on my own by myself. Like why should I ask for help? Like I had to. That's why I had to get out my pride because I know when I first moved to Atlanta, I was struggling. I got down on my luck and I was scared to ask my father for help because I was so used to doing it by myself ever since I was like 17, like just doing shit by myself, like asking nobody for help. So that's definitely a burden, like just being prideful. And what was the first question, bro?
Why we're afraid to let go?
Afraid to let go. It might. I could also say that's pride too. To like, damn, I don't want to let go because well, not pride, disappointment. Like I don't want to disappoint nobody. Like, damn, you count on me to help you and all that, but I would say disappointment.
Okay, cool. Mike, what you think, man? Why are we afraid to let go? And then why are we also afraid to ask for help?
I think for one, with that being afraid to let go, you know, you may have been, for one thing, you probably been doing it so long, you probably don't know how to do without it.
Yeah.
So, you know, you might that'll be one thing, and you won't know how to respond to different shit. Like, you know, that's all you know. So that could be for one. You know, as far as the letting go, and then for the other question, I feel more of like everybody else say, you know, just real prideful, and then you know, as a man, just being, I guess, kind of say a little bit stubborn, feeling like, man, you know, I got this, or I want to ask this because I don't. What was that? The worrying about how other people feel about it, what they'll say about it, and you know, like, you be like, man, I don't want this really getting out like that, or you know, you know, they might pick, or they might go and spread this everywhere. So, you know, I'm not gonna ask that. I'm gonna just do it on my own. Try to do it on my own. You know.
Most definitely. I think that like the afraid to let go, I think it's predicated upon whatever the burden is. Like I think when it's burdens that you are taking on for other people, I think you're afraid to let go. One, because you don't want to fail. Like some people don't want to fail other people, or might not want to let other people down. And that kind of restricts them away from trying to pull away from it, because you know they're doing it to benefit somebody. So it's like if they can't do it and you fail, they don't want to. They feel like we just losing. And a lot of people don't want to walk that path. I think that when it's a personal like situation, like it's a burden that you were carrying on your own, I think it is a lot of that pride and ego. I think we don't want to let go because sometimes we're ashamed of what it might look like to let the burden drop. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of us been taught to carry loads, especially as men. We've been taught to carry certain loads. We got to do certain things. We got to maneuver a certain way that if we walk away or let a burden, put that burden down, we're afraid of what it's going to look like. Like who's going to judge me? Who, oh, now he's too weak to be able to carry the burden. How people going to then look down, especially if you are one of the ones who are in a position of being a leader. Like, can you imagine being a leader and then you got to let the burden down, and now you got people looking like you might have failed them. So now they don't want to accept, that position. I think in that aspect. Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, I was just gonna throw something in there right quick. You definitely right about that, because I was about to say that. Because sometimes, like how you said about the having the pride and not wanting to quit. Sometimes to be a great leader, some great leaders had to step down from positions to become greater later on. They had to take that initial embarrassment and shame and step down and say, I'm over my head. And, I've seen people like in the sports realm or whatever, they stepped down and some of those guys became the greatest coaches ever. Belichick stepped down from the Cleveland job. He stepped down from the Jets job. He's considered the greatest NFL coach ever now. And at that time, he was a laughing stock. So, I mean, sometimes you have to step down and walk away and realize, no, I got to go back to the drawing board. And some people, that initial embarrassment scares so many people. That initial shame that you go through, it scares a lot of people from making decisions that may help them better in the long run.
Most definitely. And I also think to the other side, the asking for help, I think it's just like what everybody else said. I think that asking for help is just pride and ego. Like, it's just that. Like, it's that same level of embarrassment of what people you're afraid of what people gonna look at you because they're gonna be like, "Oh, you strong? I thought you got it, man. What do you mean? You need help? Oh, I thought you had it." You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's just difficult, especially if it's like a situation, man. Like, say if you got the family, like some men understand, how to work amongst the partnership, but then you got some people who over push the leadership so much that they'll be embarrassed having to ask their woman for help to do so. Like they might have painted that arena the way, I'll pay all the bills, boom, 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 boom. Might have came across some hard times and they might be afraid to be like, yo, baby, I need your help. Like I overestimated this situation. I definitely need your help. You know what I'm saying? That could be overbearing for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Like they afraid to let them down, let the family down. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes asking for help, it could become very, very difficult.
I got a friend, I got a partner like that. We get into it a few times over shit like that because he's a very egotistical person. He put, I'm the man, I can do this, I'm number one. But then you put yourself in a position where you're afraid to ask people for help now because you don't put yourself out there as the person that never need anybody, and now you trap yourself in a corner. So now you got to either ride it out and bust your head, or you got to swallow that ego and not ask for help.
Most definitely.
And to pick a bag off Kevin said, with the female, you got to be one woman that's willing to help you, because most women look at you like, I thought you, like Matt said, I thought you got it. Like, I ain't got no job. How can I help you? But why you with me then if we not contributing together?
Yeah, most of the time it's the dude setting himself up for that.
Yeah. A lot of times he did that. Oh man, listen, we coming to a closure. I got one more for us, y'all. I told y'all we were gonna keep it light tonight.
That ain't regular.
Can we benefit from certain burdens? I want y'all to think about this. I know we talked a lot about the hardship and the way that burdens typically can hold us back and all these things in nature. Can we benefit though? Like all that burdens that we can face, that we gotta hold, that we can learn to benefit from. What y'all think? Josh, what you think, man? Can we benefit from certain burdens?
I think we can, because I think burdens are like life lessons. Like they teach you some stuff. They teach you how strong you can be, how mentally prepared you can be, or it builds it builds you physically, mentally, and emotionally. Put it like that. It can build you up. If you was weak and all that, and you came through it, you was like, damn, I learned a lot. I know I can do it. If I stop being prideful and egotistical, like man say, and just ask for help, somebody help me, I can get through it. I can pay them back, and just learn to carry on. So yes, it can build character. Yes.
Cool. Yo, Mike, man, what you think, man? Can we benefit from certain burdens?
Yeah, for a fact, like, yeah, I feel, anything, but I guess like how everybody say it don't hurt you. It only can make you better. That's even with, mistake, it make you better as a person, just in general. Like, I agree with that.
Cool. Matt, man, what you think, man? Can we benefit from burdens?
Yeah, most definitely. I agree with Chef Joe and Mike J. I agree with them 100%. I learned I built majority of my character and learned my hardest lessons when it came from like struggles and having burdens. A lot of, like I said, when you fail, it builds character. A lot of times you don't know what you can handle until you put yourself in that position. A lot of times when I carried on more burdens, even if I failed or I got through with it, it was like, damn, I know how to deal with it the next time I come across it. Most people that I talk to that can't deal with a lot of tough situations is because they never went through none. Or even if they went through something, they got broke one time and never tried it again. But most of the time, not for everybody, so everybody don't try this at home. But a lot of times when you fail at something, you try it again, you know how to deal with it next time. You know what to expect. Because a lot of emotions, most people have never even tapped into majority of the emotions that they actually can feel. They haven't even been in a lot of different situations to feel certain things. And having those burdens and having those failures, or even maneuvering through those burdens, a lot of times put you in touch with other emotions, and you know how to deal with a lot of stuff going forward.
Most definitely, man. So yeah, I think, man, and what everybody said, man, is on point, man. I definitely think you can learn from your burdens, man. I think a lot of these burdens, man, are just, a lot of the trials, man. It's the tribulations that we go through. I think they do build you. I think like what Mike was trying to say, how they always say that don't kill you only makes you stronger. I think that walking through and carrying some of these loads, man, literally do get you to that point. It literally makes you stronger. It makes you better. I think it's so many things. And then like how I said earlier when speaking towards like the depression and the anxiety, like depression is a state in which that you can build yourself out of. So sometimes if you've been through it that once, you could have learned a lot from it. And then now you know how to be preventative from it happening again. The anxiety side, you know what I'm saying? If you step forward and then you go to face your fears with that, you know what I'm saying? You're able to push and build forward. I think it's just one of those things you got to learn how to, how they say, strap your boots up, and you just got to be ready to go through it. You got to be able to carry the load. You got to be able to willing to push through it, man. I definitely think we can I definitely think we can learn from our burdens. You know what I'm saying? As long as you know when to kind of to piggyback off of the last one, you got to know when to let go at a certain extent too. Like you gotta have a level of intelligence not to let that thing destroy you. So if you're pushing the boulder uphill and you feel them knees buckle, feet start slipping, sometimes you might need to be able to jump to the side to get out the way, or you're gonna let it roll you over. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a hurtful experience. You back at the bottom and you handicapped. You know what I'm saying? So I think having that emotional intelligence of being able to work through that whole perseverance and all that other stuff like that, I think you can definitely learn. As long as you're willing to bring yourself out of something, I think you definitely can get, overcome and accomplish many things. Now, so you just got to have that will to succeed. I think that's just pretty much the moral to the whole thing. Like, if you got that will to succeed, it ain't really too many burdens, dog. You can't benefit from, because there was a lesson there to be taught. Unless you one of them people who just carry the burden and somebody asks you what happened and you be like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, man, I think you definitely can benefit and learn these burdens, man. Oh man, listen, we've been in and out with that one, man. That was beautiful. I don't think I ain't did a show this light in a long time. I don't know I don't think we did a show this light, Matt, since we did the first episode.
Yeah.
Right. It's like the 15th, 16th one in the book. Oh man. But hey, man, y'all boys did good, man. We got all points. We got everything accomplished. Y'all boys want to add anything else on this burden talk?
Not on this burden talk, but I will say you got to do it. You got to do a show with some fathers, man, and break down that father shit that you wrote, man, about the different type of fathers, yo. You got to do some shit with nothing but dads on here one day, bro.
Oh yeah, letting father. Okay, yeah. Matter of fact, I had an idea that I wanted to run and gear up a show when the Father's Day had came about getting a couple fathers and stuff dive in. Because I got a fatherhood video up on the channel. Me and my boy KFC, we definitely put up one, talking about a lot of things about experiences, what we learn, and things of that nature from fatherhood. But I definitely did want to, get that chiming in from multiple people talking about the benefits that came from being fathers and how fathers began to shape people, moving forward. So, I mean, there's many of the things that, to come. Definitely could throw it up there.
Thanks.
Fill it in and get them. All right, y'all. Y'all know that before we get up out of here, man, we live in this social media area. So, y'all got to run y'all plug before y'all get up out of here. Let the people know where they can find you. Mr. Joe, Chef, let the people know where they can find you, brother.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Chef Joe with the Pots too. Also, you can subscribe to my YouTube, which I just started yesterday. Post a video doing food reviews, and also I'll be cooking and put a lot more cooking content on my channel too, and that is Cooking with Chef Joe. So yeah.
I'm definitely gonna get plugged in on that.
Okay, most definitely. Matt, man, tell the people they can find you.
I'm just on Facebook right now, Matthew Washington. Like I said, everything else is coming soon. Definitely, this time, definitely.
Most definitely. Mike, man, tell the people where they can find you, man.
Man, y'all can find me on Humble Beginners, man. Keep in tune with my brother KJ, and you see me somewhere up in there. You see me somewhere.
Oh yeah, man. Most definitely, man. Most people know me too, man. I ain't really been that big on these social media, these media streets, man. I'm getting my feet wet, man, playing pity pat tap in the water, man. Trying to get this thing. So right now, we definitely right here in these YouTube streets, man. Humble beginners, you know what I'm saying? The Vocal Vision game, we building. A lot more content coming. So we working out here, man. There's a lot more coming. You know what I'm saying? So, until next time, we're definitely out.
Hold it down.